Hi everybody, Dan Illman and Mike Beer, race number 10 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday is the Grade 3 Suwannee River Stakes. Our Suwannee River Stakes preview is presented by DRF Bets. If you sign up right now for a new DRF Bets account, you access a $200 free bet. No deposit required when you go to drf.com/join and use the promo code FREEBET09. Let's take a look at the field of fillies and mares getting ready to go a mile and an eighth in the Grade 3 Suwannee River Stakes. Morning line favorite on the outside, Mike. That's the number 9. That is Kitten's Roar. Kitten's Roar won the Gold Dakota Stakes 2 starts back on Breeders' Cup weekend. Boy, I thought she got a dream trip and ride by Johnny V that day.
Yeah, perfect trip in that race. She was also way the best in that race. Once she came clear, she settled that thing pretty quickly. But you're right. I mean, the trip couldn't have worked out better. Not the same situation necessarily for her in the matriarch. Her next start, post 11, hung out wide all the way around the track, got tired in the stretch. She's a real good horse. She's run nothing but good races. This goes all the way back to the beginning of her career for Chad Brown. She's kept it going for Mike Maker. I'd get her as the morning line favorite in this race. Here's the one concern that I have about her, and I don't know if you share this one. I know that she's run well and even won races going longer. I think she's more of a mile to a mile and a 16th horse. I think those are her best distances. So I would be a little worried about her at a short price at a mile and an eighth.
You said a mouthful when you said at a short price because the jury's still out. She has won races at longer distances. I tend to agree with you. I love the way she fired home in that Gold Dakota. It was just a different Kitten's Roar than we were seeing when she was winning those longer distance races. She has done it in the past, and perhaps it's because she's able to adapt to the pace scenario. And as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector for this race, the number 9 Kitten's Roar is going to be in a very nice position, sitting just off the 6 Ultra Brat. And if you believe Ultra Brat has distance concerns at this mile and an eighth, there's a good chance the morning line favorite takes this thing over, turning into the stretch.
Yeah, even if the distance is pushing her limits a little bit, the right trip can go a long way for a horse like her because she's really talented. And if she is just sort of sitting up there and they don't go a fast pace, she's going to be very difficult to run down.
As for Ultra Brat, this is a mare I think that's outrun expectations. She's won 5 of 11. She seems to love the life at Gulfstream Park. She's won coming from off the pace at 6. She's won pressing the pace, going a mile and a 16th. We have a positive formulator fact for her fantastic trainer, Graham Motion. Here it is for Ultra Brat. Over the past 5 years, with older last out winners making their second start off a layoff in graded stake turf routes, 28%, big ROI of 557. I can understand why some folks are saying you're supposed to fade Ultra Brat. That last race, the career best buyer effort came when she just walked on the lead and she was able to kick on home over Dream Dancing. A lot of pace handicappers are going to say you want Dream Dancing coming out of that race, but with that formulator fact, and I think that this mare's a good horse, I wouldn't discount Ultra Brat at a better price.
You know, I kind of agree with all that stuff, especially if she's going to be, you know, sort of a bigger price in this race. They have her 8-1 on the morning line, and if she's going to be around there, you know, I can't really argue with anything you're saying about her. The fact that she's won each of her last 2 turf routes over this turf course is a good thing. The problem that I had with her is in both of those races, I mean, you pointed out the trip she had last time, which just couldn't have been any softer than it was, and she got it done. I felt the same way about the Tropical Park Oaks at the end of her 3-year-old year, December of 2016.
That was a great ride.
I mean, a great ride right up. She was a huge price in that race, right up there on the pace. There was no closing going on anywhere in that race, and I just felt like she really took advantage. But at any kind of a big price in this race, I'm going to use her because I do think she has some ability.
I agree. This is the second leg of the late pick 4. I'm definitely using the 6 Ultra Brat. As for Dream Dancing, listen, I'm not her biggest fan. She's the class of the race. She won the Grade 1 Del Mar Oaks. Maybe it wasn't the strongest field in the world, but she is a multiple graded stakes winner. She always seems to come to play at Gulfstream. And if you want to say she had 2 things work against her in the Marshallers River. 1, the pace, and 2, it was her first start off of a little bit of a layoff, about 3 months. Dream Dancing all of a sudden becomes an enticing winner. She just always gets bet.
Yeah, true enough. We'll see what kind of price she is too. And I agree with what you're saying about her last race. The trip, you know, necessarily wasn't there for her, and I thought she ran fine to be second best. On the other hand, you know, you start to look at her on paper, and she was a good horse last year as a 3-year-old on turf, and she did win that Grade 1 at the in the summer at Del Mar. But you know, where's the improvement for her, Dan? I don't really see the improvement for her, where it just sort of felt like she had a lot of upside last year. I think she took it as far as she could take it, and I just wanted to sort of see her take a step forward last time. I didn't necessarily see that. Not that she can't win this race, but she's going to need some pace to develop in front of her, and I think she's going to need to take a step forward.
I thought Bowley was dressed up after her Flower Bowl, where she finished a close fourth at 54 to 1, and it was a bet against at relatively short prices in the Via Borghese and La Prevoyante. That being said, now you're going to get a better price on a mare that might be turning back to a distance that's comfortable for her. She has that race, the Flower Bowl. I'm not sure I believe that Flower Bowl. All in all, she probably needs to run that race to win this.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, you know, we'll see what we get from her. I think, you know, it's sort of easy now. You have a lot of distance from that win last summer at Indiana Graham, where she won that stakes race with an absolutely unbelievably good ride from Graham. And I don't know, I think that, you know, that sort of made her look better than she is, and she's, you know, done her best in some tougher spots since then. I don't know that I really feel like she's good enough to win a race like this, but I'm not going to argue with anybody who likes her at a big price.
What do you make of Midnight Crossing's most recent start? It was the Bobby Frankel. It was her first start for Richard Baltas, her first start on turf in a very long time. Is she for real? Has she reached peak maturity, or was it a situation where they let her crawl on the early lead and LEC's World, maybe not the gamest of horses in the world, couldn't get her?
Yeah, Elyse's World ran well in that race, considering how it's set up for her, but she's still Elyse's World at the end of the day. I'm willing to, you know, sort of leave it open to the fact that this horse just, you know, finally got back to the turf off a trainer change to a guy who does a really good job and just really improved. But I go back and look at that race and just think, I mean, how could she have had it any better than she did? Just absolutely loose on the lead with no company whatsoever, and she just held on at the end. I want to see her do it again.
Flip Cup hasn't won a race since the Grade 3 Arlington Matron on Polytrack back in May of 2016. She usually comes through with a really good, solid effort, often at big odds.
Yeah.
I've never thought she was a graded stakes horse. I think she probably is best over a synthetic surface, but I wouldn't be surprised if she completes the Tri or Super in this spot at a nice price.
I don't have anything to add to that. She's the kind of horse I just want to use underneath. I am a big fan of hers, and I do think, despite the fact that she's, you know, 5 for 9 on synthetic and 0 for 11 on turf, I think she's probably as good on turf, but she's got that running style that just works against her. Sits back at the back of the pack and tries to make one big run through the stretch. She will come running in this race. She just almost never gets there.
Westett will try to employ that style if she runs here. She's also cross-entered in the Endeavor at Tampa Bay Downs. She's still eligible for a non-winners of 2 life.
Yeah, I mean, she's run some good races and she got over. It's only 4 starts in North America, and she's actually run pretty well in most of them. We'll see where she decides to run. It does sort of look like the Endeavor might be a better spot for her, but I'm not totally opposed to her running well in this race at a price. I mean, I think her last 2 races in particular are both pretty good. She had a little bit of traffic in that last one. I don't think that trip was ideal.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 3 Suwannee River Stakes. You're going with Chad Brown, the number 7, Dream a While. Dream a While won the Tropical Park Oaks. She won the faster division of the Tropical Park Oaks for 3-year-old fillies on December the 30th, and I thought she ran quite well. And this is, I think, an example of a filly that still has more to give. This is only start number 8. She just needs a little pace up front.
Yeah, that's really what I like more about her than anything else. Is it just sort of feels like she's a sort of lightly raced new 4-year-old who still has some upside in the field. But I don't think there's a lot of upside in this field. I think she has some of it. Her first start in North America for Chad, she got a really good trip in that race, and it looked like she was going to win. And I just feel like she might have needed that race. She got a little tired in the stretch and got out-finished. A little bit of a disappointing performance. I think she took a big step forward last time. The trip actually wound up working out pretty well for her, but I loved the way she fired through the stretch. She really ran through the stretch of that race. I'd like to lock in that 10 to 1 right now. I don't think I'm getting it, but I think this is a filly who could take a big step forward on Saturday.
I vowed that I would never be burned again by Elyse's World, and I'm going to get burned again by Elyse's World. In the Frankel, Midnight Crossing had the best of it on the lead. Elyse's World was near the back of the pack, and she must have had to swing 4 or 5 wide into the stretch, swing 4 or 5 wide into the stretch, and for a brief second it looked like she was motoring. And then she kind of turned back into the pumpkin that's been her career. I'm hoping that the 9 and the 6 can at least occupy themselves, provide a fair pace, because there's one thing you know about Elyse's World, she's going to run a race.
I agree.
It just hasn't been good enough recently. 7 to 2 is not a very appetizing price. For me, this is a pick 4 spread race. I'm using Elyse's World. I am using Ultra Brad as my sort of 2 main plays in here. I would have to use your top pick, the 7 Dream a While. And I might even use a little bit of the number 3, Midnight Crossing, as a backup as well. Maybe Baltas has found the recipe for success with this mare. You're going to go 7, 9, 8, and 4. I'm going 8, 6, 3, 7 in the Suwannee River. If you're playing the Saturday Gulfstream card from home, and it is a good one featuring lots of deep turf fields like the Suwannee River, $200 free bet, no deposit required when you sign up for a new DRF Bets account. DRF.com/join is where you need to go. Promo code FREEBET09. Approximate post time for the Suwannee River, 4:43 Eastern. Good luck.